Karen here. Welcome to another Monday video with me and Lavinia Stamps. This month marks the start of a new creative challenge with Lavinia entitled Fallen Leaves, and that to me speaks autumnal colours, the richness and gorgeous colours of a pheasant, so that is my card and inspiration for you today. So the stamps that I'm going to be using is Vine Flourish. I'm going to be using stamps from the Twisted Vine set, Naturally the Pheasant, one of the hairs from the Wild Hare set, that's the small set. I'm using Forest Spruce and a number of toadstools and mushrooms from the mini pound range. I'm also using the Flourish stencil in the background. Now, my stencil does look a bit dirty. It's got paint on it because I used it on my gel plate, but it is clean, so we'll see. The size of the card that I'm going to be using is an A6 card, so that's 10.5 centimeters by 15. And I don't know if you can pick it up here, but I've raised these little leaves because these are the fallen leaves. I've curled them. If you don't like fussy cutting, no worries. I'm going to show you a couple of tricks to make it really easy for you. So the colours that I'm going to be using in VersaFine Clair, I've got Golden Meadow, got Summertime, I've got Acorn and Nocturne for the silhouette stamping. In the oxides, I'm using Wild Honey and Frayed Burlap. So I'm excited to share this to you because I just love the autumnal colours. So we'll get started. The very first thing we're going to do is take our gorgeous, elegant pheasant stamp, inking up with Nocturne. And because he's quite a solid, well, at least the post on this stamp is, I'm going to make sure that I tap it a few times. And I'm going to put him 2/3 of the way down the card. Lovely. And then I'm going to take one of my smoothies and I'm going to take Wild Honey. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to give it a blast with a heat gun. I smudged it once already. I don't want to do that again, so okay, a piece of copy paper, so that what I'm going to do is take my Wild Honey, starting on the edge. Oh, that's a juicy pad. Starting on the edge in a circular motion, I'm just going to create a glow around the whole card. The edge we want darker, and then it's fading out a bit lighter. But if you don't get the blend even, no worries, because our next layer will help us camouflage any mistakes or any pieces that you don't like. So what we're doing is creating a white glow around our pheasant. That will make him pop. Gorgeous, gorgeous Mr. Pheasant. At the beginning of lockdown, I'll just clean my work here. At the beginning of lockdown, when there were no cars going anywhere, I live in the middle of a busy street, and there was just this gorgeous, elegant pheasant walking down the middle of the road. I was astounded. So now I'm going to take my stencil, Flourish stencil, give it a bit of spritz of water, spritzy bottle, and I'm just going to tap off the excess. And I always work with a bit of cloth or a face towel, something on my lap, and then it's always there. I'm going to take this stencil, put it face down, so water side down on my card, and I'm just going to tap it. You can use kitchen towel for this if you like. And so now the water is trapped between the stencil and the card, which means we're going to get this lovely texture on our card. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous texture. And again, that spoke autumn colours and leaves to me too. Now I'm going to give it a dry with a heat gun. And then I'm going to take my Vine Flourish and my 3 colours in VersaFine Clair. I'm starting with Golden Meadow, and I'm going to ink that up first. And I'm going to start it at an angle. So from the corner of the card into the centre. Then I'm going to take Summertime. I'm just going to give it a bit of a rub. I never use baby wipes to clean my stamps. It's either water and my cloth or just my cloth. That way I don't get fluff in it. And then I'm going to put Summertime down. And then Acorn. With my Acorn, it's quite a dark brown, this one. So I'm actually going to stamp it off. Give you a second generation. That's better. And then I'm going to go in with a first generation and bring that straight down. Lovely. I think I'd like another Summertime image. That just brightens the whole thing. And I'm going to draw that down. Fabulous. So there's no special formula for where you put this. Just have fun with it, because autumn leaves are never uniform, are they? They just fall and flutter and fly around in the breeze. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take this little stamp, which is from the Twisted Vine set. You get 2 stamps in that set. And it's just a mini version of this Vine Flourish. And I'm just going to pop it on the ground underneath where this would have fallen. Now it looks a bit disjointed, but don't worry. It will all come together when we put the mushrooms down. The first mushroom that I'm going to start with is the slender mushroom from the pound range. And I'm going to start with my Acorn. And I'm going to pop it, the first one there, and the second one there. So that what we've got is the top of that toadstool, that was the second generation, that one, the top of that toadstool is still in the white area. That's going to make the whole thing pop. Then I'm going to take one of the mushrooms from the Meadow Mushroom set, that's the small one, and I'm going to ink it up with Golden Meadow. Again, there's no rhyme or reason as to which colours you're going to put where. All you're going to do is create 2 sort of clumps of mushrooms. I've torn a piece of copy paper. I don't want all my mushrooms the same height. I don't want them all tall. So, because mushrooms just peek out of the grass here and there, don't they? I'm also going to now, did you see what I did? I just lightly tapped it, so I didn't fully ink up that whole stamp. Summertime, Acorn, again. So now what I've got, if I show you here on my white piece of paper, what I've got is a sort of orangey browny toadstool or mushroom. So here I go again, light tap, and I'm going to pop a few of these because I went light stamp pad to dark stamp pad, it's not going to mark it. I would try not to do it the other way around. There we go. Actually, I want a bit of brightness in this second set, so I'm going to pop that one just like that. And maybe just the top of this one there. There we go. But no specific formula, rhyme or reason. Just have fun, have fun. That's why we stamp, right? Then I'm going to take Nocturne and my mini hare. I love this one. He's so full of character. His little ears are sort of flopping. Very inquisitive at the bottom of that stake where the pheasant is standing. Then we're going to create a bit of grass using our forest spruce. This is a great stamp because you can use it either hanging down or popping upwards. And I'm going to go in with Golden Meadow. And I'm going to put this a bit higher at the top. So now you can see how those mushrooms are starting to look part of the whole scene. And at the bottom here, just a tiny bit floating out. And then I'm going to go in with my acorn and just a couple of these at the bottom. Make sure that you orient it so that they're not all stamping directly on top of each other. Now I'm going to take a mini black pen. This is my favourite set, and I'm just going to flick 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And now comes to the part with the leaves. So I'm going to go back to my Vine Flourish set and taking a spare piece of card, and I do like to use card for this so that it gives them a bit of extra weight. And I'm going to stamp one of these in each colour. Now, I said I was going to share with you how I cut these out. Some people absolutely hate cutting out. I'm only choosing the largest leaves from the set. So I'm just going to cut out a couple for you, and I'm going to show you my couple of little tricks. So, always when you're cutting, I move the card, not the scissors. So for here, I'm leaving a bit of, look, I'm moving this card, not, I'm keeping the scissors in the same direction. And leaves are not straight, are they? So it doesn't matter if you don't get it perfect. I'm twisting the card, twiddling it round. And I've got a bit of white card at the edge. I'm okay with that because I show you what we're going to do. So that is my one that I've cut out. I'm going to pick another one, show you once again, and then I'll show you what I do around the edge. So leaving a tiny bit of white space between the stamped image and where you've cut. There we go. Okay, so you're going to cut out as many as you like. Then I'm going to take my smoothie, 2 colours. I'm either going to use frayed burlap, black soot, and for some of them I've used my wild honey. But I'm going to take my frayed burlap and just round the edge cover up those white pieces. Or using your black soot, again, lightly on the black soot, because that's quite, otherwise it'll overpower our tiny little leaf. So this one's wild honey on it. So that's what we're going to do for all the leaves that you want to cut. I've got an assortment here, all stamped in different colours, the ones that I showed you. And now I'm just going to take a pencil, just a pencil. The cardstock that I was using is 300 GSM. And I'm literally going to bend the card around the pencil. That way you're going to get these curled leaves. I would bend them in different ways, so the point isn't always that way. Some of them are on their side. Literally, that's what I'm doing. Just bending it like that. Okay, I've got a nice assortment there. And now I'm going to bring my card back. And now you're going to have a play. Deciding which colours look good. Don't worry about how we're going to stick them on. I'll tell you that in a second. Let's just have fun with placing. I'm going to place one of these that I did in the Golden Meadow. I'm going to place that flat first. And then the other leaves are going to curl on top of it. So you can see what I meant about the Vine Flourish set, how it joined into the mushroom collection at the bottom of the card. So I've got 4 there. I want an odd number because I don't want it to look too contrived. And I'm going to do that. If you want it a bit flatter, no worries. Just make it a bit flatter. And the way I'm going to stick these down is I'm going to start with my flattened one. Pop it down over there. And then I'm just going to build it up. I'm going to take this one. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on the edge of my card. For this one I'm using Cosmic Shimmer, so it dries clear. So it doesn't matter if it oozes out the side or the bottom. And then I'm going to do the same for all the leaves. Glue it on the side and then squish it a bit, but not too much because I still want this curled effect. So I think this suits the theme very well, fallen leaves. So there you go, you can have fun with that. Now, I do think that I want one tiny little mushroom in front of that little post, or let me see, I think I want maybe a bit of grass. Let's see. Oh, there you go. We had a bit of a gap there. I've still got a bit of a gap. I don't like a bit of a gap. So I'm going to go in with my meadow mushroom, the mini one, and a bit of orange and a bit of acorn. Get my little piece of paper. So you can see, I thought I'd finished. That's it. There we go. I thought I'd finished, but you can always just go there we are. I'm happy with that. And finally, I'm going to take frayed burlap and just ink around the bottom of this card. It's kind of going to draw it all together and make that base a bit darker. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed that. I'd love to see what you make. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back again next week. Bye for now.